great people of Ghana, it's a Nigerian girl pleasure bringing you political news in our channel, Ghanatube. The NDC Director of Legal Affairs have actually hit on Chief Justice Torkornoo, coming out to tell her that she cannot resign now, as people are actually admonishing her, calling her out to better resign and just save herself the stress. The acting chief executive officer of the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) and the director of legal affairs for the National Democratic Congress, ཌHOCK, has stated that suspended Chief Justice Torkornoo cannot resign due to the ongoing disciplinary proceedings. So everyone giving her the advice to actually honor herself, give herself this honor to actually resign peacefully. He has actually come out to say that it is not going to work that way. Speaking on TV3's key point on May 24th, 2025, ĽHOCK cited that the case of Chief Justice Kojo Amor versus Attorney General, where former Chief Justice Kwesi Aniyabo ruled on October 29, 2015, that a sitting judge cannot resign once disciplinary or impeachment process have actually begun. It is actually too late for this person to actually resign. Knowing fully well that Chief Justice case has actually been making headway for weeks now, and the proceedings, the suspension, the removal has actually been coming up one after the other. The acting chief executive officer of the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) and the NDC Director of Legal Affairs ĽHOCK has actually come out to give us this hint that it is impossible for the Chief Justice to actually resign now, because the proceedings have actually started already. We are of the view that the requirements of notification to the President to enable him as the appointing authority to take steps to ensure that the judge seeking to resign does not have any pending disciplinary proceedings against him before going to voluntary retirement. But here the Chief Justice has pending disciplinary processes that actually some are already in the court already, which we know that a committee of staff has actually been organized. 5 members of committee has also been set off for her probing and hearing. This provision is our view according to not only what the principle but common sense as well. The only question which arises with the said provision is whether the President has, having been complained to these proceedings by the plaintiff, can refuse to give assertion to the decision by the superior court judges to resign. He set out the 2015 Supreme Court ruling to support his position. We think that as the date of plaintiff notified the President of his intention to resign, there was disciplinary proceedings pending against him. The President was not bound to accept same. We are equally of the opinion that had the President accepted the letter of resignation, its effect would be undermined and carefully drafted disciplinary proceedings in relation with superior court judges under the Constitution. Accordingly, we are unable to yield to the plaintiff's argument that the refusal was wrong, the ruling said. ĽHOCK's comments come amid calls for some analysts for Chief Justice Torkornoo to actually resign following her suspension. We've actually seen that it is not constitutional for the Chief Justice, that the proceedings have started already, to actually resign or go out of the work. ĽHOCK's comment has actually given room for people to really understand that it is actually following a due process. But according to the NDC Director of Legal Affairs, the circumstances of time does not permit the Chief Justice to take any such action. The 2015 case involved Justice Kojo Amor, a former High Court judge appointed in 2003 after a career as a private legal practitioner in 2010. A complaint was lodged against him for alleged judicial misconduct. The complaint arose from Amor delivering a judgment in December 2009, that's 2009, and subsequently issuing a different judgment on March 2010 for the same case. The Chief Justice at the time referred the matter to the Court of Appeal judge for investigation, which confirmed that Amwa has delivered 4 separate judgments on different days in the same case, raising allegations of misconduct. Judicial Court Disciplinary Committee investigated further and on September 16, 2010, recommended his removal under Article 146 of the Constitution. The President referred the matter back to the Chief Justice to establish a prima facie case. On January 11, 2011, a committee was set up to impeach Judge Amwa. However, on January 17, 2011, while stationed at Akim Oda, Amwa wrote to the Chief Justice expressing his intent to retire voluntarily, citing his election as paramount chief of Asinfosu traditional area. The President rejected Amwa's resignation, prompting him to challenge the decision at the Supreme Court. The court upheld the presidential refusal, ruling that accepting the resignation would determine constitutional disciplinary process. Chief Justice Torkornoo's suspension by President Mahama comes on the back of a prima facie case established against the Chief Justice following the submission of some petition against her for removal. A 5-member committee established by President is currently investigating the petition. Meanwhile, Chief Justice has filed a suit at the Supreme Court to challenge the ongoing. But the cocoa and the master be say, Chief Justice has no legal right now to actually resign on her own, because the matter has actually gone ahead time to start processing, and this already has actually made it not accessible and not contentable to actually go out on her own to resign. Please watch as he actually say a few of the things.
So Godfred is lawyer for Vincent Assefuah. So they first brought an application. In relief 1, they say that Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, was not notified prior to the President sending or consulting the Council of State. That's the claim. Now the claim of not being notified requires personal knowledge. So once that issue came out, some of us said, on what basis did Vincent Assefuah get this privileged information that the President has not consulted Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice? So then it created an impression of some communication between the plaintiff and Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice.
Please do it to like, comment, and follow. Put on notification press to get all our news one by one. Thanks, man.